Okay, and I'm back. So, you know, when I go away and I have such an amazing time as I just had in Scotland, I always worry I'm going to come back and talk for 2 hours. But I'm not. When I woke up this morning, I am still on Scotland time a little bit, but I love it because I wake up now at like 4 in the morning, and I'm loving being awake that early because Kevin knows I don't usually get up that early. And it's just been incredible to wake up with the sunrise every day and to be at the gym like at 6 in the morning, and it's just been incredible to have this early morning time to myself. So this morning when I woke up and I was on Facebook, I wanted to just put a little note on Facebook about what I was going to talk about today. There was a posting from David Allen Cruz. And I'm going to read it to you because it was so provocative and it really kind of set my day off. So here's what it was. It was a beautiful picture, and it was this saying. It said, "Do you know who I am? I say namaste because I like what it means, not because I am Hindu. A lot of people here think I am Christian because they think I talk about Christian values. But the truth is, I am really talking about human values. I've been asked if I am a Buddhist just because I have discovered inner peace. A lot of my friends are pagan, and they think I am one too, because I say that being in nature is my idea of going to church. Do you want to know what I really am? It's very simple. I don't need a label to define me. I am a piece of the universe, sentient and manifested, and I am awake." And I read this and I was like, that's me. That's us. You know, we say we're religious scientists. I don't say that a lot anymore because it doesn't have as much meaning to me as it had when I was studying religious science emphatically and solely. But I don't teach religious science emphatically and solely anymore. I teach the teachings of Ernest Holmes, who embraced every aspect of religion and philosophy. And he didn't call it religious science. They called it that when they told him he had to make a religion out of it for tax purposes. Seriously. So I think it's really important and imperative that we get back to this concept that I am Hindu, I am Buddhist, I am Catholic, I am Christian, I am Jewish, I am Judas, I am Jewish, I am Baha'i, I am all of it, I'm a pagan, I'm an atheist, I'm all of it because it's all God. And I loved reading it this morning because our whole theme this year is I am awake. And that's what I want to be awake to. I want to be awake to all of it, not some little myopic understanding of spirituality or religion. I want to be awake to all of what it means to be alive, to be God. And I loved reading that. And I don't know exactly where it came from. I hunted it down. I don't know, some of you could do this better than me probably. But I hunted it down to see who wrote this. I really couldn't find out who wrote it. I see some of the websites it showed up on. But I want to tell you something. It had 681 comments. Now, if you're on Facebook, you know that's a lot of comments for something. Most people just like things. They don't take the time to comment. 681 comments. 15,742 likes by 6:20 a.m. this morning. But even more amazing, 47,866 shares. Now just think about that. And I want you to think about what this world we live in is like now on Facebook and all of the social media. That when something comes across that really resonates, we send it out and we share it. I share it with my 3,000 friends, and you share it with your 6,000 friends, and by the time the day is over, the world has heard it. That's the world we live in, because it's proving to us that we are one. We are one global community. I have a young man in India that follows me and watches service, and if you're there today, hi. And it's so amazing to me. I don't know who this person is, but when I see his posts, it's saying the same thing we're all saying. And it's just beautiful. The title of my talk today is, "Oh my God, a castle." Now, how many of you know the story of the goldfish? Okay, how many of you don't know it? Good. So, I told this story a while back, but it has a whole new meaning today. So a goldfish has a very slim attention span. and doesn't really remember anything it's seen. So that's why, don't feel bad when you see these goldfish in these bowls, because their entire life is literally going in circles saying, oh my God, a castle. Oh my God, a castle. Same castle. But it doesn't remember, it just saw it 3 seconds ago. So its life is filled with mystery and excitement and passion, and every few seconds, oh my God, a castle. Okay? So, a goldfish does not hold on to the past. It just doesn't. It doesn't have a past. If you forget to feed it and then you feed it, it's fine. It doesn't resent you for it. It's lost some weight, that's all. A goldfish sees everything as if seeing it for the first time. Everything. What if everything you saw as if for the first time, and you didn't build up all what you think you know? One of the things in this science that I find so fascinating and I'm so literally passionate about is breaking open this teaching, this science, the science of mind, and all religion to a place where it's brand new to me again. And I'm hearing it as if for the first time. That's really my goal. So I just got to go to Scotland for the first time. I had never been to Scotland. So if a goldfish's line is, oh my God, a castle, for us going to Scotland, it was, oh my God, sheep. Because everywhere we went, there were sheep. And it was really funny because about the first few days, we'd be like, oh, look at the sheep. Oh, look at the sheep. Then it was like, there's the sheep. There's the sheep. And so we took this one road that literally rode right through a sheep field because we weren't supposed to take that road, but we did. And we took it, and all of a sudden, these sheep were like, what are you doing here? And they're like getting out of our way, and these rams are coming right at us. It was really a beautiful moment for us all. But for me, my experience in Scotland was this. Oh my God, a stick-shift car shifting on the left, driving from the passenger seat with oncoming traffic from the other side of the road and approximately 60 hours of driving ahead of me. What a divinely peaceful vacation. We got to the airport and they told me that my car was a stick shift. And I asked for an automatic and it wasn't possible. So I had a stick shift car and I was driving from the passenger seat and the stick shift was on my left and the traffic was on my right. And I literally, thank God I'm a religious science minister. That's all I have to say. Because Kevin and the kids, they were like, well, you'll be fine. You can do that. I'm like, of course I can do that. Sure. So we get in the car at the car rental place, and I can't even get it into reverse to get out of the parking space. I have to get out of the car and go have someone come show me how to use reverse on this particular car. And then we got out, and then we only ran into ongoing traffic twice during our 10 days. I know, isn't that good? I thought that was good. Most people go, you did? I'm like, twice, that's it. Twice out of 60 hours of driving. My daughter, if you speak to her, will tell you it was 3 times. She is incorrect. It was only twice. The reason why I bring up the car and all, it's really this, our theme this month is the consciousness of freedom. And I was thinking to myself, I'm really very confined in this car, and I don't feel very free. And so how do I find freedom in a car on the wrong side of the road? And that's funny because somebody in Scotland said to me, he said, no, you are on the right side of the road. Even when you're on the left side of the road, you're on the right side of the road. And think about that for a moment. You're always on the right side of the road. So we pull out of the parking lot, and the very first to go onto a freeway to get to our hotel, and I'm trying to get my grip. I'm like, God, talk about new. Everything is so new. And Will says in the back seat, see, now you're going to know how it feels when I learn how to drive. I was like, if you ever lived that long. So we're driving, and Kevin's like, okay, don't take this first exit. Don't take this first exit. Now, if you're driving in America, the first exit is going to be on the right. So in order to not take the first exit, I stayed on the left, which was taking the first exit. And then we went left. And then I'm like, so now where do we go? And Kevin's like, I don't know, it's Scotland. We've never been here before. And I'm like, just calm down. Everyone in this car must stay calm because I am driving into traffic. And so we tried, and Kevin tried, and we did get to the hotel. And then we didn't have to go anywhere. I think we kind of walked around that place for a while, Glasgow. And the next day, it was like a 6-hour drive. And I woke up, and I did a lot of prayer and a lot of treatment. And I just said, look, I know I'm not here to die. I know that I'm here to do a wedding, so please keep us safe at least through the wedding. I'd hate to disappoint these people. So, and we had a beautiful drive after that. And it is amazing how you can actually eventually feel normal. It's like, okay, this is normal, there's the traffic. And then if you let your mind go for a second, all of a sudden I'm like veering to the other side of the lane, and Kevin's like, traffic! Oh, right. Right, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. It was like you weren't permitted, and this is great. I wasn't permitted for a moment to think about anything other than the gears and where I was in relationship to oncoming traffic. Literally. And how many of you have been to Scotland? Have you ever been to the roundabouts, those roundabouts? Unbelievable, unfathomable, these roundabouts. It was like, Kevin's like, you're going to take the third roundabout. I'm like, from which side? Where are they coming from? And that was why Nora says we ran into ongoing traffic 3 times, because there was a bus coming at us at one point. But it wasn't coming at us because I was in its lane. It was coming at us because I didn't know where I was in the roundabout. And it did come at us, and I did stop in time for the bus to pass us. Obviously, I'm standing here. So these roundabouts were so frustrating. And I was like, that's what the mind is like. It just keeps going round and round. If you keep going round and round with the same thoughts, you're going to get the same results. And I kept taking the same tactic going into these roundabouts, because every time, and here's what I love. It's not Sophie. What's the name on your GPS? Siri. Sophie. I call mine Sophie. Siri says, at the next roundabout, take the second exit. And every time I heard roundabout, first of all, I did break out in a rash, second day of the trip. And I'm like, I hear roundabout and my heart just stops. I'm like, oh, roundabout. and I'm still trying to and finally I realized, this is what we do with our minds. We build up some belief about something, and every time it shows up, that belief takes over. So I stopped and I went, you know what? I'm good with roundabouts. I will be good with roundabouts, and I did great. The roundabouts after that, right, Kevin?
Well, there wasn't.
I'm going to go to that one. So we go. So they were really good. So then, now I'm really cocky. I'm like, I have roundabouts. Not a problem. So we get to Inverness, and there was this one roundabout, and it was the first time that one of the exits had 2 lanes of traffic coming, like my lane and this lane. Usually the roundabout was your own lane. So it's take the third roundabout. So count these numbers. So the first one was just a single lane. The second one was 2 lanes, but I didn't know that. So I counted 1, 2, 3, which meant I then just turned into oncoming traffic. Now, none of us spoke in the car. I don't think any of us realized I had done it, or everyone was holding their breath, but yeah, I didn't.
That one.
Okay. And I had just said to the kids, I was like, guys, you should take a nap. They went, we can't sleep. we want to be awake if we're going to die. So I turned into this lane. And there was no traffic. It was like an empty lane, except because there was a curve. And just as I get into the lane, all this traffic comes this way, directly at me. Kevin, the scream that came out of him was earth-shattering, but only second to the 2 screams from behind me. And here's my reaction. Oh, chill. They see me. Don't you think Scotland people are ready for the Americans to turn the wrong way? I'm like, it's all fine. I stop the car, and they're coming. They stop. They're used to it. And I turn around, and I get off, and then I look down, and I notice my hands like this. And I was like, how fascinating. I'm so calm here, but my body is betraying me. And that's the last time it happened. And then the rest of the drive was really good. But it really made me think about my mind and the way I use my mind. And if I don't stand guard at my mind, I will drift into old patterns. Don't you do that? We drift into old patterns because the belief system underneath is going to come in. And if I didn't think about it, I would have drifted over to the right side whenever I stopped thinking or minding my mind. When we got back, Kevin said, I'll drive. You drove for the last 10 days and we're done with your driving. And I said, no, I really need to drive because I want to get back behind I'm going to have to drive on our side now and make sure that I didn't feel crazy. I got in the car, boom, never even thought about it. You just naturally go right back to this. That's what our beliefs are like. We naturally go back to whatever we know as normal. But if we're willing, really willing, to stand guard at our mind and know, I've chosen this. This is what I've chosen to do now. I've chosen to go to Scotland and drive on the left side of the road. So just because I'm here, I am not free to go to the right side because I'm American, unless I want to be free to die. So I want you to just think about that. So we were in Scotland for the wedding, and it was such a beautiful wedding, and I do want to say hello to Jillian and Ricardo, the new Mr. and Mrs. Pereira. It was just this most beautiful, beautiful wedding. It was two families, a Scottish family and a Portuguese family. The Portuguese family was very Catholic, and then the Scottish family was very Protestant. And it was interesting going over there as a New Thought minister because there was a lot of discussion as to what is he going to do? How is this going to please everyone? And it was really wonderful to get to stand in a collection of people, Catholic, Protestant, but all Christian, mind you, and still be able to speak exactly the way I speak and have it make perfect sense to everyone. And in fact, Ricardo's mother and grandmother, who was, I think she's 89, gave me such a beautiful hug and said that it was the most beautiful wedding they'd ever been at. And Ricardo and Jillian, they were both so happy that the day came off the way it came off. And this trip gave me a chance to really see my ministry through different eyes. And I found myself as I was going through Scotland, and we went to the most beautiful areas of Scotland, asking myself, what am I here to do? What am I really here to do? What is it I'm really here to know? What is it I am really, really here to experience? So this month is the consciousness of freedom. And I have a question for you, and I want you to ask you this yourself. Ask to yourself, am I free to experience anything and everything I want and desire? Am I free to experience? Are you free to experience everything you want and desire? Give me an answer. Yes? Yes? Anyone think no? Okay, you think no. You're not free to experience. Actually, you are free to experience illegal things. You're going to have to deal with the ramifications, but yeah. So, I knew that would be your answer because, yeah, somebody else say no? Okay. I knew that would be your answer. Am I free to experience everything and anything I want and desire? But I really got clear on this. The answer is no, you are not. You are not free to experience anything you want and desire. And I think that is the confusion in this teaching. We go after what we want because we think we're free to have it. We go after what we desire because we think we're free to have it. But I am never free to experience anything contrary to the law of cause and effect. I will never, ever be able to experience anything contrary to the law of cause and effect. Meaning, I cannot experience what I want if I haven't created the consciousness of what I want. And that's a big schism there. I want you to really think about this today, because I know many of us still have things we want and that we desire, and it's not happening. I've heard so many religious scientists say, I treat, and it's because you're treating for the experience. You're treating to get this, to get more money, to have more love, to have more success, to have more health. We have to really reevaluate this. That's not it. That ain't it, kid. That ain't it. It's about the consciousness. That's why this month isn't called the month of freedom. It's called the consciousness of freedom. You will never be free until your mind is free. That's it. You can't be free. You can't experience anything without having created it first in mind. So, I am free to create up here, but I'm not free to experience. The experience is just the natural result of whatever it is you are creating in mind. And this is a big change for me. It really is. It may seem semantic, it may seem like words, but it's not. I know for a fact that I have gone after things, and I have wanted that, I've wanted this, and I've wanted to create that. And I even, think about this, I've even tried to create that by changing my mind. But it's still about that. We have to stop having it be about that. It's not about more money. It's not about more success. It's not about more love. It's not about more anything. It's about this. Remembering who I am and living in that consciousness so deeply that I think, breathe, and move on whatever side of the road is the correct side of the road for me to get where I'm going. And I don't allow myself to start thinking, oh, but I should be over there. Oh, but maybe that should happen. Look what he's doing. Look what she's got. All of that is just noise. I loved your clutter thing. Just noise. I am not free to receive something contrary to the law of cause and effect. The law is absolute. I am not free to experience anything that I am not equal to. So if you are not living the life you want to be living, the only thing missing is the consciousness of it. That's it. Nothing's beyond limit. Nothing's beyond your grasp. But what can you do in mind to get yourself there? So, here's an example. Weather in Scotland. So, the weather in Scotland is very crazy, they say. But not for us. We got to Scotland, and it was unbelievably glorious. And everywhere we went, people kept saying, well, you're getting great weather. We don't usually have this here. Everywhere we went, and we're like, wow, every day was magnificent. The wedding day was spectacular. The sun coming over the marshes. I felt like I was literally living in Brigadoon. It was so beautiful. The whole day, I mean, standing at a castle and being on the beach and the castle up there and the marsh and the kilts. I wished I had a kilt to wear today. I so wanted to wear a kilt today. Wearing a kilt, how many people have worn a kilt? Talk about being free. And that's as much as I'm going to say about that. Now here's the deal. Jillian, the bride, never, ever thought that her day wasn't going to be anything but perfect. I know, this woman has a very powerful mind. Very powerful mind. She knows exactly what she wants. Most brides and grooms, when I do a wedding, you know, I'm a Broadway director, choreographer. I direct and produce their wedding. And I tell them who goes where and where they go. But I was stunned because Jillian was like, no, here's what's going to happen. I would like this. She was so powerful that we met each other and it was like the most gorgeous wedding. Just the way it came down on the marshes and there was a bagpipe player that followed her from her bedroom all the way out of the castle, down through the beach, across the marsh. And then she disappeared behind a big rock so that the groom couldn't see her. And then the bagpipe player shows up playing bagpipes. I was already on the beach with the groom and everybody was standing. And then all of a sudden she comes out from behind the rock in this gorgeous white dress. And it was just like, oh my God, has there ever been a more gorgeous moment in time? And the weather and the bagpipe player, it was just spectacular. Right there, and where were we? We were in Campbelltown, but what was the name of the water behind me?
Well, it was the Mall of Kintyre, but the Castle of Sac.
It was beautiful. So when I ask, are we free? When I ask, am I free? The answer has to really be yes, absolutely, I am free. But we got to get clear on where that freedom is. It's in mind. It's in my mind. I decide. That's why I'm teaching. Next Saturday, I hope most of you will show up on Saturday for this workshop, The Power of Decision, because it starts with decision. When I had to decide that the roundabouts weren't going to kill me, when I had to decide that I could do this, that I could use a stick shift on the left side of a car. I don't drive a stick, by the way. A stick shift on the left side of the car and be okay. When I had to decide that in mind, I didn't just wait to see if it was going to work out. Because if it didn't work out, that meant death to my whole family. No, I decided, no, I can do this. I've got this. And then I had to stay absolutely focused in order for it to happen. So my question is, do you do that? So this year, we've decided to be awake, to be awake. If I'm awake, then I have the capacity and the ability not just to be awake, but to be clear, to focus, to decide, and then to stay wherever it is I decided to stay. So, if you're awake, then you know what you're thinking. Do you know what you're thinking right now, sitting here? Do you know what you're thinking? Think about it for a minute. Do you know what you're thinking? Think about it. Listen to what you're thinking. What are you thinking? You're thinking, he said that about 5 times now. That's being awake. What am I thinking? You know what you think, and you know what you believe. I would say we need to get out of this thing of thinking, I'm not sure what I think about that. Yes, you do. There's something in you that knows exactly what you think about everything. The concept that you are confused is a belief you can throw away, because there is something in you that is not confused. Anytime you come up to something and you think you don't know the answer, that's because you are focusing on not knowing the answer. There is something in you that knows. When Reverend Nancy said, "What do you want?" going into meditation, my eyes filled up because I instantly knew what I wanted. And I didn't have to sit there and go, what do I want? Do I want this? Do I want that? If you get out of the way, there is that in you that has to know. So, do you know? Are you free? Yes, you absolutely are free. And if you are awake, you know what you think, you know what you believe, and you know how to occupy your mind. Coming back from Scotland, I was very clear that I need to spend even more time occupying my mind on purpose. I must occupy my mind in such a way that I know that I am in charge of how I react. I don't just react because something has happened. I know how I'm going to react. I know how I'm going to engage in life. And I know how I'm going to live my life on purpose. So, in fact, you do know what you believe. And frankly, if it isn't serving you, if what you believe isn't serving you, then you got to get rid of it. So I'm just going to ask you, can you think of one thing that you believe, perhaps, that you know does not serve you, that really doesn't serve you? Just bring it up. Just bring it up for yourself. What is it that doesn't serve me? I know that as I'm heading for, on September 25th, I'll turn 60. And there's been a lot of talk about that. My kids make fun of it in a loving way until I tell them to finally stop. But they do. You know, in fact, my son the other day said to me, I was doing something at the gym, and he went, wow, that's really good for an old man. And I took a breath. But I thought to myself, he just said that as a joke, and yet there's a part of me that believes that 60 is old. It's getting smaller and smaller, just so you know. Smaller and smaller. It's a belief that does not serve me. So what belief do you have that really doesn't serve you anymore? And the thing is, you can't just throw it away. You must replace it. All you that took the thought exchange, you don't just get to throw these beliefs away. Beliefs don't get thrown away. They don't let you throw them away. It's part of you. They're like, I'm not going anywhere. But if you believe something other than what they are, you just have no more power. Somebody, I'm sure, will say 60 is old again to me. Is it going to have power over me, or do I actually know the truth? I know the truth. So, what is it to be free? It's the freedom of mind to think what you want to think. That's what the consciousness of freedom is. You are not free to go out and be successful at this unless you have literally created its equal in mind. So for those of you that are still looking for the 10 steps to this and the 20 steps to this, all of those things are awesome. There are great workshops out there. John Livesey has a brilliant book, The Seven Secrets to Successful Selling. Is that it? Good enough. Okay. These are all great, but here's the deal. None of them will land, other than an intellectual understanding of it, unless you create the embodiment of it in your mind. And really that means, to go back to what I was talking about, you need to be a goldfish. You really do. You need more of, oh my God, a castle in your life. You need to let go of what you think you know. You need to be willing to drop all the stuff that you think makes you who you are and start tapping into the truth. If you have to drive on the wrong side of the road for whatever reason, wrong, of course, being pejorative and being my idea of wrong, it's certainly right over there. If something comes up in your life and you feel awkward about it, it's your mind that gets you through it. It's not just happenstance. Your experience of anything will be exactly equal to what your mind decides about it. That's this teaching. That's how it works. And so I invite you, as we continue with another week of the consciousness of freedom, not only to deal with the consciousness of freedom, but to deal with the understanding of being awake. Because if you're awake, then you do know what you think. If you're awake, you know what you believe. And if you're awake, you can start to embody what you want. And you won't have the experience of what you want until you embody what you want first. Everybody clear on that? Anybody not clear on that? So, someone suggested this to me, and I'm going to do it today. Yeah, I'm good. Just tell me, is there anything, any question of anything I said today that you'd like to ask me? Perfectly clear? Yes? Then repeat after me. I am awake.
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 I am. I am. I am. I. And now in the silence that follows that, we step into that creative substance, that creative field where everything is possible. Where I not only know who I am, I know exactly what it means to create the life that is mine to live. I know what's mine to do. I know where I am meant to be. The answers to all questions are right here, right now, fully present. And what I want is, in fact, who I am. This is what I know, and I let it be so. As together we all say, and so it is. Namaste.